Hello.
Hi, Josh. Okay, I was waiting for you to talk.
Oh, I was just having a little bit of problem on my end, but awesome. Thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
No problem. My pleasure.
It's great to be able to catch up with you again. It's been a few years, but it's great to see that you've been busy, and now with a new album coming out from a project of yours that I've always loved, and I'm so
Cool,
happy to
cool.
see new material coming out with Star One with
Excellent,
Revel in Time.
excellent.
Oh,
Cool, man.
absolutely. So, thinking about that in mind, I mean, obviously it's been about 12 years since the last release of Star One. I mean, how did
Right.
it feel to start working on new material for Star One?
Easy, because the last Arjen album Transitus was heavy, was hard to make. It took me 3 years, and for this Star One album, it was just plug in, and let the ideas come naturally. And you got the guitar riff. Okay, the guitar riff automatically leads to the bridge, then it automatically leads to the chorus, and like a few hours later, hey, I got a song, and then like a week later, hey, I got 11 songs. So it was, yeah, I've been doing this kind of music since the 70s. I mean, with my roots, Deep Purple, Rainbow, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin. That's the kind of music I've been making also in the 80s and the 90s, and it's all riff-oriented music. So it's really in my blood. So it really comes easy.
Oh, and it's so great to hear that too. And, it's just, I can hear the passion that's going on throughout the music with this album too. And
Good,
I can
good,
just
good.
tell how much you're enjoying playing as well. And it's so great to hear that.
It was a pleasure making this one. Where Transitus was really hard work. This was just sit back and relax. Looking back, I have no idea how I wrote those songs and when, and it just it just came automatically. Because I had an interview and some guy asked, "Did you do anything different?" I was like, I don't know. I really don't know. It was just let it come naturally. Don't think too much about it, and yeah, happy with the result.
Oh yeah, and it really does sound like what you just talked about, with the last Ariane album being like so heavy and so dense and everything that went into that album. It just felt like you needed a different kind of release with this album and just have a different approach and being able to
Totally.
just have more fun with this album because it is a very
Totally.
fun album from start to finish.
It is fun. It has dark moments, but it also has very bright moments. And especially compared to the previous Star One album, it was Victim of the Modern Age. That was a dark album. It was very heavy, and of course the concept was dark. Dystopian movies like Clockwork Orange and Blade Runner. Yeah, so as a reaction to that, I wanted basically to make a mix between the first Star One album, which was quite a catchy album, and the second Star One album, which was like a dark, heavy album. And most of all, I wanted to make this a very eclectic album, very, very, yeah, varied. Like every song should be different from the other song. And yeah, I think I succeeded.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And
Cool, cool.
yeah, for sure. And I just love the subject matter so much of time travel and time travel movies and
Oh
the fact
yes,
that it's so varied as well when it comes to those concepts as well too. I mean,
right.
the fact that you can have something as dark as Terminator yet as much fun as Bill and Ted. I love that.
Right, right. Well, that's why I picked that subject. Basically, I already wanted to do it earlier because time travel is my favorite subject, sci-fi subject. All these movies and also TV series like Star Trek. When there was a time travel episode, it was always fun. So but it's like this dark album Victims. You can't do Bill and Ted with like with these heavy stuff. And this time it was, yeah, I also wanted to be lighter and like you say, Bill and Ted, Back to the Future, Groundhog Day. They're very positive movies, and yeah, a bit of a more an upbeat album, really.
Yeah, and it really shows not only just from the diversity of the subject matter that's going on, but also all the musicians that are a part of it as well. Because of course, Star One was known for having four main vocalists, but this
Right.
time around,
Yes.
being able to have a grand scale of different musicians, which is quite a change.
It opened a lot of possibilities for me, and basically it was a solution because like you say, the first two Star One albums, it was always Dan, Russell, Floor, and Damien. And they always came to my studio, and there was a lot of dialogue singing, so I really had to guide them. If they were singing all four of them in one song, I had to tell them like, hey, Floor sang it this way, can you sing it this way? And of course, this time I couldn't fly anyone into my studio. So that's why I changed the concept of dialogue singing, basically. So that's why this time I wanted like one song per singer, and then I decided, okay, let's give these guys like Floor, Dan, and Damien and Russell. Let's give them all one song, and then I can ask other singers, because I got this huge wish list with singers, and it's both singers that I grew up with, like Jolene Turner, like Tony Martin, like Jeff Scott Soda, but also new talent like Ross Jennings or Brittany Slays or Brandon Yegley. So yeah, that's I like doing it this way.
Yeah, and it's just again, it's just like when I compare two transistors to Revel and Timey, it's just like you can hear the differences in there too. I mean, obviously both have like a grand scale of different musicians being able to be a part of it, but whereas one just like feels so much more serious, and the other one just feels like it's more fun, with even when tackling more dark subject matters. It's just it's just like with everything that's been going on, and obviously with the pandemic, and
it's needed.
just like mentally, just being able to change that up, it's got to be a great feeling for you.
It's needed right now. I don't want to write songs about the pandemic or not come out with some kind of a dark album at this point. I want to, like I always say, I want to offer people escapism, and it's really simply that's it. Just listen to this, enjoy it. As you say, as much as I enjoyed making it, it was so easy to make this one. And also I worked with all these guest musicians who were all great people. Really, every guest musician, I told Laurie, my girlfriend, like, this is such a nice guy. She said, yeah, you say that about everyone. Yeah, but it's true. These are all such nice guys, which is important for me. You work with these guys and you want them to be excited about what they do. You want them to like the song, you want them to maybe even to like the movie. So yeah, it's always important for me.
Oh, absolutely. And it feels like you matched everyone up with the perfect songs too. I mean, whether it's the full-on take on the first CD or the alternate takes as well too. I mean, I appreciate the fact that you're showing off both on the double album, and being able to see how the songs can progress like that.
Well, basically the idea was born out of the fact that I couldn't have the singers in my studio. So I needed to send them guide vocals. And I was like, yeah, these guide vocals have to be really good, because I can't guide them personally. So these vocals have to guide them. So I just got the best singers I could think of that could come to my studio, which is JC, who, as you may know, he was in my last two live shows. He replaced Russell in the first one, and he replaced Jay van Vechelen as the Barbarian in the second one. So yeah, I had him do guide vocals, and I had Marcela Bovio, of course, who I've been working with since the Human Equation. I had them do guide vocals, and they raised the bar so much. If you listen to Marcela singing Fate of Man, it's like, oh my God, how is anyone going to sing this? Or if you listen to JC singing 28 Days, there's only one in the world who can match that, who would be Russell Allen. So yeah, I raised the bar with those guide vocals, and then I thought, like, I need to release this. More people have to hear these versions, and at some point I realized, this is not a bonus disc. This is not guide vocals. This is just great, amazing vocals. Equal to do those on CD1. So then I didn't have guide vocals for all the songs. So then I I went to my wish list, and I invited a lot of friends who I wanted to work with for a long time to sing vocals on that album too. And and suddenly I turned up with two CDs.
Oh, that is just so cool. And thinking about that as well too. I mean, obviously with all the people that you're able to work with, both new and old, I'm
Mhm.
glad to see that you still showed off your vocals as well too, and being able to have that alternate take to Dan Swano.
Well, basically, there are versions of all the songs with my vocals, because I had to sing guide vocals for the guide vocalist, so it's complicated, but they are awful. If you hear me sing stuff that Jolene Turner sang at the end, you don't want to hear it. It's terrible. So the track that I used my guide vocals from was the only track where my vocals were okay. you know. So and everyone always thinks I'm humble, but I really know the other versions. I wouldn't want anyone to hear them. The only one who heard them was JC and Marcela, the only two people. I also told them, these are my guide vocals. Please destroy them. It's like this will destroy itself within 10 seconds, something like that.
Well, if you ever decide to do Mission Impossible
Right, I
as a
was
theme,
thinking
that'd be a
about Mission
great movie
Impossible.
to
Doodly-doo.
do.
Yep.
Oh, well, I totally understand that feeling too. I mean, it's when especially when you are showing off vocals. I mean, when it's not in your scale, or when someone else can do it better, and you have the opportunity to have someone to do it better. I mean, obviously you want to be able to show off those sides.
Yeah. Because I had to sing everything an octave lower. These guys sing so incredibly loud and high. And also, of course, the female vocals. If you hear my version, it's "Oh, fate of mine is in yours." It's really boring and low. So it's really just to show the singers like what the melody is, and yeah, they have to sit through it. I feel pity for them. But yeah.
Well, thinking about that as well too, with your contributions, I'm so happy to see that so many singles and videos have been released for this album as well too. I mean, being able to show off all the different sides of
Right,
what's
right.
going on as well too. I mean, whether it's something more serious, or whether
Mhm.
it's like a full-on music video like the title track, which I just got done watching again before
Right.
we started
Yeah,
talking, and I was just
yeah.
holding back the laughter the whole
I
time.
know. Brandon is amazing. What a charisma this guy has. Yeah, it's a total opposite of Transitus. Transitus, I was like, okay, we need singles, we need video clips, and I was like, really? And I couldn't pick. There were no standout songs on Transitus. Really, I could not pick singles for that one. Eventually, we did, but yeah. Somehow you couldn't rip the story apart and take out one song. It just didn't survive. And with this album, it was the absolute opposite. I had like 7 options for singles. And of course, that's too expensive, especially the Revel in Time clip. That's an expensive clip, It's shot in the USA and shot in Holland, and lots of people involved, and so you can't do too many. But still, the label was talking about 2 or 3 singles, and I was like, no, I want 5. I just yeah. With every song, I felt like this has to be a single, and like you say, for the singles, I picked the most eclectic bunch. It starts with this epic Lost Children of the Universe. Then you get like the fast, really fast Fate of Man. Then you get the proggy, quite complex with weird time signatures, prescient. And now suddenly, after all these serious songs, you get this totally silly Bill and Ted parody of Revel in Time, and the 5th clip is going to be totally different again. It's going to be very dark. It's going to be about Donnie Darko, and so I like that. I just hope people have an open mind, because that's why I like Led Zeppelin. I mean, not just because a whole lot of love and Black Dog, but they also did Going to California. They also did folk songs, and they did blues songs, and each song was totally different from the other song, like especially on Zeppelin 3, which is my favorite album. It goes from Gallows Pole to Since I've Been Loving You, and I like that.
Oh, and I do as well. And that's why I admire your work so much, because you do have that great eclectic taste here. And, it's just like not everything needs to be an Arjen album. Like it can be Star One, it can be your solo work, it can be a one off
Right, right.
project. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, like you want to be able to show off all these different sides of what you enjoy and what you want to be able to play and who you want to work with. And with having an eclectic taste myself, I couldn't love that more.
Oh, good, good, good. Yeah, I think my fans are open for it because I have to admit I was a bit nervous with Revel in Time because suddenly it's like this guy they don't know, Brandon Yeagley, like running around there like a crazy guy, and it's like how are they gonna take this? Maybe they didn't see Bill and Ted, so they're like, what's this phone box doing, and why is he putting Napoleon in the phone box? What the fuck is going on here? So I was a bit afraid, but so far reactions are very, very positive, which is great for me to know that people have an open mind too.
Oh, for sure. And, just to back up that sentiment of like being able to show off people who may not be familiar in your fan base, I think like one of the most standout people that you've ever given a spotlight to is Michael Mills, and just being able to show off his vocal range. And now you've helped make him become a bigger star in music than I ever thought possible.
I really hope so. And with each album, I'm trying to give him more recognition, because he deserves it so much. I mean, he's still flying under the radar, and it's not fair. He's such an amazing talent. And it all started with the Theory of Everything, where I could give him one of the main characters. And since then, I told him, like, listen, Mike, I want to like involve you in everything I do, every live show I do, or even if I make a Gentle Storm, which was with Anneke, he played some weird guitar on that, or lute or whatever it was. He should really get more recognition, but he's not good at selling himself, not at all. Not at all. So I try to do it for him.
And I'm so thankful for that too, because you helped me get turned on to him as well too, and just being able to enjoy his work with Toehider.
Fantastic. That's all I want. And here, of course, again, he wrote the lyrics for this track, and it's complex. It's so complex. I started working on it. I was like, I can't do it. I need like a genius to write lyrics and for this song. And so automatically thought of Mike, and I called him up and I said, well, do you have a favorite time movie about manipulation of time? And immediately he said, well, Primer. I've seen it 10 times. I still don't understand it. It's a movie made for $6,000. And I said, do it, write lyrics about it. And he did, and it's all very cryptic. And he sang it together with Ross Jennings and Haken, and their voices fit together so perfectly. So definitely one of my favorite tracks.
Oh, absolutely. And I was just about to bring up that fact as well too. It's like I love Toehider and I love Haken, but I never thought of those two being able to sing together until I heard this song. And
right.
that's just the magic and wonder of what you can do, is just like pairing up people together with these great voices that people wouldn't normally think would work together. And see them work together so well.
Yeah, for me it felt right immediately. It was like I asked Mike, how's it going? He said, well, there are two persons in the movie, it's about two guys. Shall I do them both? I said, no, it would be way cooler, to have someone else doing that. And basically because of all the harmony singing, at some point you get some a cappella harmony singing, which is a little bit like Gentle Giant, and of course there's a lot of Gentle Giant influence in Haken. I immediately thought of him, and I knew he would like the song, and luckily I was right. And he's such an incredibly nice guy, and he really worked so hard, on it, and he really delivered. It's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. And another thing that's really fantastic about this album is the album artwork as well too. I love the use of the watercolors that's going on and the clocks, and how it kind of has like a melted feeling behind it when you look at it, and you can just see all the different time periods that's going along when you look at the different clocks. I love that.
Yeah, it was Usually, Chef Bertels, the painter, he does the Arion covers. He did Electric Castle was the first one he did. So basically, he is the Arion painter. But I didn't use him for the last couple of Arion albums. And with this album, I thought, this deserves a Chef Bertels painting, really. And also, I didn't have room in my house anymore to hang the paintings, but I moved to like a big house, and I had space for a painting again. So that was another reason to ask Chef. And I just knew I wanted this big hall with all these clocks and with one big central clock and some panoramas in the corners of mountains and stuff. And yeah, there's only one guy who can do that, and that's Chef.
Oh, that's incredible. I just thought of something here when you mentioned that you did move. When you are moving, and obviously being able to write and record from home, and being able to work on those studios. I mean, what was it like for you to be able to move to a new home and rebuild a studio? I mean, was that a lot of effort, or how did that go about?
Well, the thing is, in my old house, the studio was in the garage, and so it was. We had neighbors, so it was completely shielded off. There were no windows, nothing. It was like a dark cave. And I've been living there for 13 years, and I really had to kick myself into that cave. I want to look outside while I'm working, and get some inspiration, and see some nature or whatever, see some movement. And so I really had a problem with it, with just this dark room without windows. So we looked for a place where we would not have neighbors, where I could just open the window when I was playing, and no one would bother me. I wouldn't bother anyone. That's what I mean. So yeah, we found this house in the middle of nowhere. Actually, it used to be a school. It's a 100-year-old school built in 1921. So yeah, it's huge. So yeah, my studio is simply one of the rooms upstairs where I can we made I don't know what a dakapel is in English, but anyway, a way to look outside and to open the windows while I'm making noise and bothering no one. So that's lovely. And I don't record drums at home, so because that's you need a big room for that, a lot of mics and stuff like that. So yeah, I've got an extra space in the attic where all the speakers are for the Hammond and for the guitars and for the bass. I don't need that much space in my studio. I never have people over just when a singer comes. And I always want the singer to stand next to me. I don't want him to stand in some glass booth or whatever. I want to have direct contact. So yeah, it basically it's just a room upstairs in an old 100-year-old school.
That does sound incredible, though. I mean, the fact that you can look outside and have such a great view and not have to worry about bothering neighbors, and you can work on your own time and have people over to be able to work. I mean, that just sounds like a dream.
Well, it's actually funny. There is a house nearby. It was the house that belonged to the school teacher. And I thought, like, these guys, these people, I might bother them with my music. So before we bought the house, I knocked on their door just to meet them. If they would be difficult people, I would not have bought the house. So the guy opened the door and he said, "Hey, Arjen, Lucassen, I have all your CDs." So yeah, he really became a good friend. And I was like, would it bother if I'm working in the studio and I open the window? He said, no, I'll be underneath, listening. So that turned out fantastic.
Oh, that had to be a great feeling for them, being able to hear some of your work before anyone else.
That's what they thought, but then, when I'm doing a Hammond part, which is really loud, this Hammond organ and the Leslie, and I have to do it all day, and they hear like the same part like 40 times in 2 hours. I'm not sure if they're still that happy, but they never complain, so it's good.
Oh, that's great. But
Mm.
it's so great to hear everything that is going on with you right now, and just like hearing how happy you are in your voice, being able to talk about Star One, everything that went into this. I mean, obviously, with being able to go from different styles, different projects, and just being able
Mhm.
to work on something that's just going to have a lot of passion behind it, but also a lot of fun, and being able to appreciate some great movies about time manipulation, like you mentioned, and just
Mhm.
being able to have fun with all of it, from the aesthetics to who you're working with, the production, all of it. I mean, I'm just so happy to see that as a fan, and just being able to get to experience this album before it comes out on the 18th of February through Inside
Thanks,
Out.
thanks,
I'm
Josh.
just so happy about everything that's going on in your world right now.
Thanks, Josh. I really appreciate that. Well, I'm a spoiled bastard. I can just I can do my hobby, and it makes me enough money to live from, and I don't spend any money, and whatever I do. No, that's not true. But anyway, people are open-minded for my music. Yeah, it's a very luxurious position, and also it puts me in a position where I am now to only work with people I like, and that's the biggest thing. Because in the band days in the 80s and in the 70s, and I had to work with terrible people, alcoholics or drugs, and aggressive people, and you were in the band, and then you had to make compromises, and it was terrible. It was terrible, and but you were dependent on these people, everyone liked your band because of the singer, and he was a dickhead, but you had to just do what he said, otherwise it would be the end of your career and stuff like that. And now I can just do what I want, and I can just if I don't like someone, I'm not going to work with him. It's very simple, no matter how big his name is, I don't care. No, if this doesn't work out, let's find someone else. So yeah, being independent, that's basically the best thing about what I do.
Oh, absolutely. And again, that just sounds like a perfect dream. Being able to write the music you want to, working with the people that you want to,
Right,
being
right.
able to get rid of relationships if they don't work the way that you want them to. If there's too much of a struggle, you're able to find someone who can fit the mold of what you're looking for, whether it's
Right.
musician,
Yeah.
vocalist,
Yeah.
production, anything. I mean, that's so important in this business.
Yeah, and it's even when I started with Arion, it was like you had to work with people, and you had to do concession, and because you really wanted someone on the album, because it was very important. It was a big name or whatever, but it was a struggle. And now it's like, yeah, it's not working. Okay, I'm not going to mention. I hear you thinking now, who is he talking about? But I've been working with childhood heroes, people that were the reason that I went into music, and they turned out to be very difficult. And in the old days, that would have really bothered me, but now it was like, okay, no, well, it doesn't work out. Hey man, too bad. I'll ask someone else. I'll ask Mike Mills.
Oh, absolutely
Yeah.
perfect. One last question I wanted to ask. I know times are running up here, and I know you got a busy schedule being able to promote this. So again, I just want to thank you for taking the time to be able to do this. Now that's
Always
a
a pleasure.
Oh yeah, I love being able to talk to you every time I get the chance.
Cool, man.
Now, obviously, with the Star One being wrapped up, and now being able to do the promotion, and of course, the album coming out on the 18th of February, are
Mhm.
you thinking about the future coming up? I mean, is there like anything that you are starting to work on? I mean, maybe you don't know what direction it's going to go in, but are you working on new material?
Well, to every, it seems like it's a dream come true, what I do. But the dark side of it is like being without inspiration, and it happens after each album. I probably tell you this every time. I have to go into that black hole, and I want to start a new project. I want to start a new project. This project is finished, and the ideas. The more I want it, the less the ideas come. I grab that guitar, and just the same old shit comes out, and so that's a little bit like the phase that I'm in right now. I just want to do something new, but I wouldn't know what, not another Star One's too early. I don't feel like doing an Arion. The side projects, I don't know. So yeah, that's a bit of a struggle right now. But I do have some projects planned. One is my solo album from 1993. It was just before Arion, and I was totally lost. For fun, I made a country song, and a record company wanted to sign me. They loved that country song, and they wanted to sign me to make a solo album. So I made this totally weird solo album with country songs, but also like Pink Floyd kind of songs. And I was totally lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so that album totally flopped. And I think it sold maybe a couple of thousand albums. So I really want to re-release this one. Give it some love. And also maybe re-record some of the songs, and I have a lot of bonus tracks and demos and shit like that. So I thought it will be very cool to make a nice package, not too expensive, of my first solo album. So that's plan one for this year. Secondly, the record label Mascot is releasing all my Arion albums on vinyl chronologically. The last one was Electric Castle, which means that the next one will be the Universal Migrators. And I think I can make them sound better. So I want to remix that whole album, make a 5.1 mix and stuff like that. And that will be a big job, It's remastering is a job of one day, but remixing is a job of at least a month. It's if you want to do it right. So those are at least two things I can start working on, and then in the meantime, hoping that the inspiration for a new project will come.
Oh, both of those sound incredible, and the fact that Mascot is working on those Arion albums, and the fact that you do want to make them sound the best that they possibly can is just incredible. And I am so intrigued by what you mentioned with your first solo material. I mean, if that does come to fruition and that does come out, I would absolutely love to hear that and talk to you about that.
Cool. Well, it will be a limited edition. Maybe I'll because it doesn't belong to me, the rights, and the guy who it does belong to, he doesn't want to sell the rights. So he said it's okay, if you just release it, but it has to be very limited. So it will probably be a couple of thousand or something. But yeah, don't get your hopes up. It's a weird album.
And going back to what you were mentioning before, talking about inspiration and wanting to do something the opposite of what the world's going through right now. It's like, if you need that inspiration once the pandemic is over, I mean, if you want to write the most darkest evil black metal and death metal,
probably, yeah. The world is happy again. I'll just make them unhappy again.
Well, I mean, Ed Warby can obviously play in that style. So if you ever go
direction. Oh yes. He didn't tell me, but I think some of these songs are way too happy for him. I didn't tell anyone this. I don't know if he likes me telling it, but Revel in Time, we had to give that 80s feel. So I put on all my old 80s shirts and stuff like that. And Ed was there like, I want to wear black, no, but it doesn't fit, we're all wearing colors. I want to wear black. I said, yeah, but the background is black, and if you're wearing black, your body will disappear and he was like, okay. So we had to look in the studio what clothes they were. There was like a red shirt, and it was a big thing for him to put on a red shirt. So yeah, he will be happy to do something dark,
That's so
his song is also totally 28 Days, which is this dark, heavy, plodding Black Sabbath kind of sound. That's what he likes, doomy stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, awesome. Well, I'll let you go now, but I thank you so much for taking the time to do this. It's an absolute honor every time I'm able to talk to you, whether it's about Star One, whether it's about Arjen, whether it's about anything else that you got coming up in the future. I thank you so much every time that we're able to talk. I can't wait to show off this interview, and I just thank you so much for your time.
Cool, man. Always. Let's talk for the next one. I'm here.
Oh, awesome. Well, again, thank you so much. I'm going to start working on this interview, get it to sound the best I possibly can. And once again, I thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Definitely. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye, Josh. Bye, man.